Hi Everton, so I've produced two designs for one room. The two rooms are close enough to make assumptions about the general sort of price point where we're at, and I'm also out of time. So I have, initially I started pricing this with two rows of slanted shelves on this side and one row of slanted shelves on that side. Just quickly finding the correct spreadsheet for that one. Bear with me. Yeah, I'll send you a copy of this parts list, but we're coming in at about 1,500 on this design. Now, if you wanted it, it's these slanted shelves that are adding most of that cost at £42 a shelf. So I had taken out one row and replaced that with another row of wire shelves, which I'm just reinstating now. Okay, so that's, I mean, that's taken out a couple of £100 rough, maybe £100, something like that. But I think an all Elfa solution at about 1,500 is realistic. I don't think these are going to be any good for clothes. I think the angle is too severe. Again, this is my model, not Elfa's model. I have used these in the past. A recording studio used them to store synthesizers. I may or may not have a photo of that, but there will be online photos where you can judge that angle. I don't think they're going to work for clothes, but the other thing you could do is get one from Ironmonger Direct and just try it. That's going to be the quickest way to get hold of one of these and just see what you think of it. Okay, let's move on to the second design. Now, while we were on the phone, I talked a lot about bespoke boards, and my assumption was that this was going to be cheaper. Unfortunately, I was wrong. The board costs for that design I've just shown you there, the boards alone are coming in at over 1,000. Now, a lot of that is the fact that there's a lot of small parts here that have attracted this additional cutting charge. But you can see if we go to, bear with me, yeah, we're now on the cutting suppliers website, and for this price I've deleted all of these off the cutting list. I just wanted to see how that would affect the cutting list price. We're still using 3 boards. There's just not quite so much cutting and waste and small parts there, and that gets it down to sort of 820. I suspect if we, because you can see, look, it's about £100 a board, and then without small difficult components, it's about another £100 worth of cutting and edging. So I think if you limited yourself to 2 boards worth, which incidentally we can see from that is going to be 1 board per side, without these edges, find another way of doing those, you're looking at about £400, £500 for those boards. Anyway, at the moment, this design, as it stands, is coming in at £2,240. So it is, it's more than I expected. There will be cheaper ways of making this edge. And there's also, I've priced this for a white-faced and edged moisture-resistant board. There will be an infinite number of different finishes that you can use. Doesn't have to be white. In your shop, you could get away with a chipboard core. It doesn't have to be moisture resistant MDF. So this is one room. You're looking at the Elfa, all Elfa solution, roughly £1,500. So both rooms roughly £3,000. For this more bespoke solution, you're going to be looking at roughly 2.25 per room, so 4,500-ish. I think that's as far as I can take things at the moment. I think if you can work within that price range, it's worth keeping talking. If that is way above what you were hoping for, that is probably the end of the conversation. But I'll be back from working away end of next week, Thursday, Friday. We can talk then. All right, take care.